Well, nearly 2 weeks since the governor allowed the statewide mask mandate to expire, many Montanans are stepping out mask-free. But before you get too comfortable and book your first flight in over a year, you need to know travel restrictions are now tighter. So Q2 Chief Photographer Paul Humphrey and I went to the airport to show you what that means and what catching a flight now looks like.
If you're going to fly, if you're going to be part of, transportation, you're going to have to wear a mask. Even though the mandate has been dropped by the governor for the state of Montana, in this building, you still need to do it.
Billings City Director of Aviation and Transit, Kevin Plone, says so far he hasn't had any major issues at Billings Logan.
I'm sure it'll happen at some point in time.
But he says now it's easier to enforce. A recent presidential order brings the CDC, the TSA, and every major airline under the same requirements and rules.
It gets everybody on the same page. All transportation hubs, that includes transit, rail, anything that has to do with travel in America is now under this order, including the airport terminal.
And for those who feel they'd like to fight the mask order, there are now some federal teeth behind it.
The bite for airports that you wouldn't see in the other transportation issue is that the TSA can give you a civil penalty. And that can be from $250 up to $1,500.
Brian Beam says United Airlines wants its customers confident and comfortable. So a company marriage with Clorox and the Cleveland Clinic turned into a major cleaning process after every touchdown.
So your tray tables, your overhead bins, the labs, the galleys are all being wiped down. So any area where you typically have surface.
Beam says that's not the only extra cost the airlines are absorbing. While flying and when planes land, they are also maximizing airflow.
The auxiliary power unit is a air exchange for depending on the size of the aircraft, every 2 to 5 minutes, it's exchanging 100% of the air in the aircraft, going through a HEPA filter, which is a medical grade HEPA filter, just like you'd find down here at your OR at the Billings Clinic or at St. Vincent's. So you're getting a much better exchange of the air going through the aircraft.
And a couple studies back that up. Both a Harvard study and a Department of Defense study finding high-performing ventilation systems and mandatory mask use reduces the risk of viral transmission aboard an airplane.
We'll see that. Our employees are just walking through down one side of the aircraft. It's electrostatic mist. It's going into the air, sticking to the surfaces, all the way to the back, and then moving back up to the other side.
Other studies, of course, show the opposite, that coronavirus can and does spread on airline flights, especially if you remove your mask or use the restroom.
What we want to do is we want to give our customers the confidence that yes, it is safe to fly. Is there risks? Yes, there's always risks. There always has been, but we're doing everything we can to give you a safe, reliable product.
But to make that happen, it goes back to all travelers stepping up and taking part. And although a mask mandate is not the rule in most of Montana, it is when you fly.
I think what this has done is it's just kind of given it some uniformity across the board here so that we can say, okay, yeah, once you come into the airport, just put on your mask and it's a done deal.
Besides the TSA mandate, if someone refuses to wear a mask, both United and Delta Airlines add those travelers to a no-fly list. And to be clear, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends not traveling right now during the pandemic.